And Israeli military strikes against Iran tonight, including 50 Israeli fighter jets targeting a secret bunker under the late Ayatollah Khamenei's compound. The Israeli military says it was being used by Iranian officials. And U.S. forces destroying a large Iranian drone-carrying ship. The Pentagon says Iranian drone attacks have plummeted. President Trump posted, "There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender." As we have new reporting, the president has privately expressed interest in the idea of a small contingent of U.S. troops that would be used for specific strategic purposes inside Iran, according to two U.S. officials, a former U.S. official, and another person with knowledge of the conversations. In a phone call with NBC's Garrett Haake, President Trump said he's not considering a U.S. ground invasion of Iran at this time, dismissing it as a waste of time, saying they've lost everything. They've lost their Navy. They've lost everything they can lose. And the White House seems to be rubbing it in, posting memes overnight on X.
You want to see me do it again?
Mixing combat footage with action movie clips. Several former senior U.S. military officials expressing outrage to NBC News, calling the posts undignified and disrespectful to everyone involved in the war. All as Iran is still unleashing attacks. In Bahrain, the government says Iran struck a hotel and 2 residential buildings.
I think it was the foreign minister of Iran who said that they have the right to defend themselves, which is by default, yes. They do have the right to do that, though. What up, Cap for Life? Iranian lawmaker. Countries hosting US bases in region will not. No peace. Iranian foreign minister says it has the right to self-defense against US and Israel, which is by rules of war and like international laws. Yes, definitely. If somebody attacks your country, you have the right to defend yourself. I'm not a huge fan of war, but I do understand that if somebody's bombing your country, you do have the right to defend yourself. And what you don't have the right to do is attack first and say that that preemptive attack is because of self-defense. That is something that you can't do. That is not self-defense. In the meanwhile, while the war in Iran is raging, Trump is trying to push the SAFE Act to go, which is ironic because a lot of Americans, not all, but a lot of Americans, especially MAGA voters, believe that voter fraud is a big issue in the United States, which is not true. Trump giving Pentagon $1 trillion, I guess that was the war in Iran. Nah, it's about oil. What's the latest news? Preemptively attacking kills everyone. The only way to win is to not fight. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So the latest is Iran apologized to the neighboring countries, but also said that as long as they're not going to attack them unless US and Israel attacks them. And the missiles are coming from those countries. In the meanwhile, the foreign minister said that Iran has the right to self-defense, and Israel is attacking Lebanon. 2 Israeli soldiers wounded in Lebanon. There was 45 killed in Lebanon today. In its most recent casualty update, the Lebanese health minister said that this brings the total death toll since Monday, March 2nd, to at least 339 people. At least 117 people were wounded as well, the ministry added. There's some missile threats in the United Arab Emirates. Palestinian man shot dead by Israeli settler once again. That genocide is still going on. Not getting as much news coverage, unfortunately, but Like the settlers are still harassing Palestinians in the West Bank and also killing them. Who is winning the war? Just worry about Finland. Ah, no. Rage bait is back. What up? Trump sending troops? Trump said that he's not sending troops, but to be fair, he's sending troops. On my X feed, there is a Finnish politician who supports dismantling the EU and NATO. Yes. Unfortunately, there's quite a few of them. Just a bit of a heads up for all the Americans in the chat. Like, the reason why us Europeans and people around the world are talking about the Iran situation and the US politics is because if you would just keep your own fucking issues in your own country, we wouldn't need to be talking about them. But because you're bringing your issues to the global stage, it is affecting everyone. Who's winning the war? Do you want my predictions, or do you want the current situation is like there's literally no winner at the moment, but predictions would be that I'm not seeing that Iran is going to win this. Lol, I would love that the end world burn. Iran said that, yeah, send in the troops, they're ready. I saw that interview as well. Trump is doing the old-fashioned George Bush thing. So Trump is declaring win before the war has ended, just like George Bush did in Iraq, if you remember that. I think China might be one of the winners here, if they stay out of the conflict completely. But then again, China doesn't have a good track record when it comes to that. Nail, thanks for the heart. Alice as well. US troops can't win against them on the ground. Yeah. You know what? I hope that if they decide to send the troops, like ground forces, instead of sending like normal citizens, children, parents, partners, family members, friends, they should send the politicians' kids first. Then you would see how pointless this war is immediately. If they send the politicians' kids first, there would be no ground invasion. There would be no boots on the ground. If there even was a slight chance that they would die. They're willing to sacrifice every single one of you guys in the chat, but they are not willing to sacrifice their own. The reason Iraq fell was a lot were against Saddam, but now Iran is only the diaspora. Why do you talk so much nonsense? Steve, please do provide and try and make a rational argument. What nonsense am I talking about? You are very delusional. You are aware that's not possible. It would be possible. Easy. I wonder whether UN can ever recover from this, or is it done? It kind of requires the US leader to be changed. Otherwise, UN is kind of like, because what worth does an international body of law have if one of the superpowers just say, go fuck yourselves with it? Like, you know, you're still aware historically is military personnel in place. What? They will probably send the immigrants. I would, but all you ever do is talk nonsense. I mean, Steve, you can attack, like, you can do ad hominem as much as you want to. But if you can't provide any substance to your claim, I would recommend just, I don't know, go to the next MAGA stream you can find that are praising your supreme leader, that this is a good thing. Why did Finland join NATO? Russia. That's one of the easiest slam dunk answers ever. Finland was completely split when it came to NATO until Russia invaded Ukraine. Like, literally, one of the easiest slam dunks ever. Finland didn't even have proper conversations. Of course, we have, like, for the past few decades of conversations joining NATO, but they never went anywhere. But immediately when Russia invaded Ukraine, NATO, here we come. The same goes for Sweden. This stuff is messy. I don't know who to trust anymore, so I stick with Finland. Trump wants China and Russia to buy oil from the US. Okay. I actually think that this is, like, if you think about Venezuela, if you think about everything that Trump has done now regarding the regime changes and invading countries and starting the war with Iran, Venezuela is number one when it comes to crude heavy oil. 303 billion barrels, about 17% global. Saudis, of course, are fans. What the fuck is this? Saudi Arabia, of course, is already on the back pocket of Trump, so... they're number two. Number three is Iran. Iran has 209 billion barrels. Then would be Canada. And then we go down the list. It's Iraq, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Russia, Libya, and then United States. Yeah, I banned already that guy. What the fuck is this? I love the confused reaction. Yeah, I was like, TikTok, the TikTok beta male is grifting his chocolate starfish hunting bullshit. One of the weirdest spammers ever. Considering, like, I know Russia's been helping Iran. Yeah, like, did you guys, every single one of you, I presume, saw what Hexet, Caroline Lewitt, said about Russia providing intel to Iran and helping them? They said that it's not a big deal because Trump has a special relationship with Putin. And then at the same time, Trump lifted sanctions that India can buy oil from Russia. Isn't it kind of weird that Russia is providing intel that puts service members of the United States in harm's way, but Trump thinks that's a good thing? It's not a thing that they need to be concerned about. At the same time, they're lifting sanctions when it comes to Russian oil. I think this is all about China. If you think about it, China is working more and more to transfer from the all fossil fuels to other sources of energy. And considering how limp-dicked Trump handled the Ukraine crisis, like preferring Putin over Zelensky, I think Trump and Putin might have some sort of a deal. Are you still in Ireland? I am. I think this might be that because Trump is lobbied so heavily by the oil companies and the oil industry. And Venezuela, again, being number one in the heavy crude oil business, Iran being number three, Saudi Arabia being number two, US threatening Canada as well for, like, you know, they need to behave well. Canada is number four. This is controlling the oil because it is still number one source of energy, and not like countries are relying on oil. So this is all about fucking oil again. Didn't Trump ask Ukraine for help? Yes, they did. It's about China. They bought the majority of oil from Iran and Venezuela. Yeah. India might also be a player in this. India might also be one. China and Russia have a massive, huge army, but it takes a lot of oil run to those machines. The most dangerous resource in Russia, women, I'm not even joking. Johannes Henriksson, it was never about the Iranians. It was never about the Iranians. I mean, people who believed that Trump, from the good of his heart, decided to help citizens of Iran, you are fucking delusional. Trump never cared about them. It's just a means to an end. He can claim that he's helping them to achieve his goal and getting popular. Like, he's dropped so many hints so far that it's not about the Iranian population. For example, people were celebrating that Pahlavi would be the next leader, and they were celebrating. And then Trump said that, no, Pahlavi is not going to be the one. He's a good guy, but he's not suitable for it. They want somebody that is beneficial for the United States and Israel. So if Iranians think that they will have free will about their next leader, I have some really fucking bad news for you. You don't. If you elect a person in Iran, when you sometimes in the future will have an election, if you elect a person in Iran who is not favorable for the United States and Israel, this is going to repeat again. They will decide. They want Trump literally said yesterday they want the oil of Iran. Trump said yesterday they want the oil of Iran. Spend more time on personal hygiene. My personal hygiene is quite good though. Like, I wash my hair daily. And I don't sweat that much anymore. That's a good thing. I don't know if it's a good thing, but I change my socks every day, my underwear every day. Yeah, my personal hygiene is quite well. I don't need to wear diapers though, like Trump. So that I can still hold my shit inside me without the worry of shitting my pants when I'm giving a speech to you guys. That's something that Trump can't say. We all know the Brown incidents during his speeches. Are Baltic states fucked in terms of NATO US support? No, they're not. Trump needs diapers so he can sell his shit to his followers. Kamala would have put the US in the USA. Trump is giving the US just an essay. This is not about all. It's Trump pacifying Israel. It's both. Janie, it's both. Israel needs to have rule over Middle East. Well, not Israel, but like Netanyahu and Netanyahu's goals. They want to have complete rule over the Middle East. Trump is getting the oil. So it's a means to an end. Again, it was never about the citizens of Iran, and it's not completely about Israel. Israel is just the catalyst. They finally have a president that is willing to do their bidding. Netanyahu has tried the same for 40 fucking years. Ever since the 80s. He said that Iran is 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months away from nuclear weapons. Ever since the 80s. We can use the oil, another win for President Trump. Yeah. I mean, if you get there. Unless the oil prices go a bit too high, then it would be recession in the United States. I wonder if that hits. If the barrel of oil is at the moment $90 per barrel. The average is already risen above $3 in, I think it was $3 in the United States. If the barrel of oil rises above $120 per barrel, welcome to a recession. Are you still saying we're winning a lot? Do you believe in all the Satan stuff surrounding the Epstein Island? I don't believe in Satan, so I'm not a religious man. It's 90.15 this morning. Do you own oil stocks? If not, you're ignorant. Vinny, I don't own oil stocks. But I do understand what oil prices per barrel going up. I can also read people who know a lot more about what that happens and has happened in the past. Vinny, you do realize that you're probably holding a device that is more powerful than the machines back in the 70s and 60s. You have all the information available, so you spouting stupid shit like that is kind of ignorant. Use your fucking device. It's systematic through all the wars to bring full control to the US. I was just in MAGA panel teasing them with their stupidity. That's why, for example, when Trump spouts shit like about China, for example, that China doesn't have wind farms, how can their fans be like, oh yeah, that's the truth? That is a complete fucking fabrication of reality. You have a powerful device on your hand that you can just easily look up that, hey, does China have wind farms? Oh my fucking god, they have more than anybody else. But you don't do that. You just blindly believe what your leader is telling you. Computer phone. Computer phone. China has the most wind energy. Do you think the attacks on surrounding countries is Israel? There was some reports of that, but of course it's speculation. I don't know. Would it be the first time a country would use a false flag to go to war? Nope, definitely not. Or would it be a first time that a country uses false flag to justify something else? It wouldn't, but it's speculation still. I'm hearing all the Venezuelans' oil we see some went to Texas, but it's still in crude phase. It hasn't been refined. True. Trump said he just had a feeling. Yeah, it was gas. It was probably the part that wasn't the part. He needed to take a chance. And it was diarrhea. You believe Islam cares about money and oil. You think Islam cares about money and oil? I don't care what a religion thinks. All religions should be taken out of politics. 100%. Like, every single religion, whatever fucking religion. No religion should ever be in politics. And shouldn't be responsible how a country runs. Easy as that. Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, everything. Yeet. They could be your personal fucking thing. Don't ruin everybody else's lives with that. I'm in Tel Aviv. The city is getting pounded. The media is not reporting it. I have seen some videos from Tel Aviv, and I'm kind of shocked also that what we've been seeing from it is quite minuscule. It was an explosive Adderall diarrhea fueled by McDonald's. So what about the French and their nuclear umbrella? French nuclear umbrella gives cover to allies amid global upheaval. In quieter times, the French leaders announced to expand France's nuclear arsenal and use it to shield much of the European continent would be probably have received a lot more attention. But with the United States and Israel waging war on Iran, French President Emmanuel Macron's speech delivered in front of the giant nuclear submarine at the Little Launch naval base impressed. And yet it has hugely significant consequences. So the reaction to Iran, Israel, and United States fighting it out is that more countries are interested now in nuclear weapons than ever before. Well fucking played. Even peace and quiet countries, Sweden and Finland, are looking into changing their laws when it comes to harboring nuclear weapons. Even peaceful fucking neutral countries like Finland and Sweden are considering harboring nuclear weapons on their soil because of what United States and Israel started. What do you think about the UAE propaganda on the internet praising the leaders, etc.? It was whoa. Iran already rejected Trump's ceasefire request. They did. Flip-flop grow, thanks for the follow. Thank you. This should be obvious, right, with the bullies running shit. Yeah, it should be. I shouldn't need to that's the baffling thing. Like, a lot of people who are on the side of this war don't understand the consequences globally. Either they don't literally understand them, they can't read, or they're just fucking closing their eyes. Okay, I'll extend an olive branch. Iran is all about security. That is complete bullshit. That is such a fucking stupid statement. It is not about security. Unless you talk security on securing national resources and providing Israel a friendly country to use for their bidding. Yes, then yeah, 100% it's security. It's about control. Can you visit Iran as a US citizen? I'm not a US citizen, though. then what was the Ukraine war for? Ukraine war is going already. And it's just Putin's... Ukraine didn't have nuclear weapons. That's the issue. If Ukraine had nuclear weapons, Russia would have not invaded. And Putin really, really, really desires those old times back when Russia used to own a lot of countries. Control to what end? Oil. Energy. My fucking God. That is, like, I'm gonna say it now. Really, really simply. That is the playbook of Trump. I was skeptical at first. But after Venezuela, after threatening Greenland, after threatening Canada, after attacking Nigeria, after soon to be invading Iran, it is control of energy and oil. And also natural resources. That's the Greenland part. Good afternoon. If we don't find a more efficient energy source, we will revert to the Stone Age. 100%. And that is something that Trump is afraid of, that people will turn away from oil. That's why he's lobbying so hard against renewable energies. It's because the oil execs have their hands so far up Trump's ass, they're using him as a puppet. Literally. Sesame Street puppet Trump. Oil CEOs and like execs have their hands so far up their ass that they're moving his mouth. The Ukraine did have nukes, but they gave them all away in the 90s, though. Do you think China will accept that US controls all oil providers? I don't think they have a chance to say anything about it. Let's oil up because oil is expensive. Yeah, I'm already like stockpiling on baby oil. And vegetable oil. We are moving away from oil. Have you researched ancient Egyptian civilization? Do you just think that maybe it's about Muslim religion? Nope. Was Venezuela about Muslim religion? No. They made another bogus reason to get access to the oil. What the fuck? It's easy to attack a religion and say that they're evil and that's why we need to take over your oil reserves. You can't really say we're taking over your oil reserves because even people in America have a sour taste in their mouth. What's been going on for the past few decades. If Trump came out and said that, hey, we're going to attack Iran, we're going to change their regime to steal their oil, you think the citizens of the United States would be on board with that? Do you think? Sometimes I feel like a lot of people have memories of a goldfish, but I don't think the majority of the Americans have a memory of a goldfish. No, we aren't. BP took Iran's oil. You're right, it's all about oil. Oil and money. They sit hand in hand. What about the 30K who died? It still doesn't change that. I still believe that the citizens of Iran deserve a better regime. The current regime has treated them horribly for decades. And 30 people died. I value human life. But United States is not going there because 30,000 people died. If you believe that they went there, I'm sorry, but you are not paying attention at all. For the person who said, Daniel Eves, I have a question for you. If you care about the 30,000 people who died and you think that Trump cares about those 30,000 who died, why isn't Trump helping the Palestinians? There's about 30,000 plus children and women who died in Gaza. Why isn't Trump helping them? Think about that. Oh my fucking God, we have... Oh, what? We have Adolf Hitler joining in the chat saying, I told y'all. Come on. That's distasteful, though. Fuck that. You should you should go back to the hole you were burned in and stay there. Don't ever come back. What country are you from, if I may ask? Finland. Free Palestine. I do think free Palestine. Color TV, thanks for the follow. I'm in Argentina with my side chicks, bro. You're throwing so much historical, like... Because we know Joseph Mengele fled to Argentina, allegedly. What do you think about the return to the land movement in America? Middle East is always about oil. He actually lived out his life in Venezuela, get educated. Oh my god, you haven't looked at the Epstein files, have you? I have looked at the Epstein files. My apologies, I thought you were from a Germany country. Well, to be fair, like Finland shares some resemblance of like when it comes to Germany. Not as much. My wife comes from the like she has some German heritage. Myself, I have like Russian and Sweden. Like, of course, I'm Finnish, 100% Finnish, but my ancestors come from Sweden and Russia, so I have both. Cuba needs help. How many wars and how many regime changes are America gonna do? How much are you gonna waste your taxpayer dollars for chasing, like, power over countries? There's gonna be a point where you'll run out of money. It's oil again, done to inflate the price after stealing Venezuela's oil. It's not in America's interest. America never gets the oil. They will get the oil. We are bankrupt already. I mean, the national debt of the United States is about to hit, was it 40 trillion? I think yeah, it's 38 trillion at the moment. And the Federal Reserve said that it's going to probably hit 40 trillion before August. And if this war adventure that Trump has goes further, it's probably going to hit 40 trillion a bit faster than expected. Yeah, we're pretty cooked over here. Please send help. It's all about containing China also. I think this is more about China than a lot of people think. I even, like, was a bit ignorant about that until I started, like, connecting the dots when it came to, like, Venezuela and when it comes to Greenland and Canada as well, and when it comes to Iran and Nigeria. No, it was but like that's Janaya, that's like the optimistic prediction that it's gonna hit 40 trillion in August. Colleague Mac, thanks for the follow. Man, I'm gonna wear your hair in the trenches and say I'm a pretty girl. What the hell are you talking about, Green Killer? Literally, it's half of your things you're writing is kind of wild. Let me see if you have hair. Let me go to your profile picture. Oh, you're balding already, so. Just kidding, just kidding. Just kidding, just kidding. But I know that a lot of people are envious of my hair. Know exactly what's going to happen in World War III. I'm going to find you, I'm going to wear your hair. We've had a person like that in the chat previously again. No, it's because you're balding. I can see your videos. Okay. That's why you're writing those. Okay, I understand. Insecure American. Good luck with that. Insecure American with a nickname Green Killer. Beautiful. Go away. I think Iran is doing better than the media is saying. It's hard to... We were talking about it a few streams ago about Folks of War. Also, jobs paying an emotional salary. That is true. The job amount was dropped. But we were talking about the fog of war at the moment, literally 2 days ago. Because you have 3 entities at the moment that are all willing to lie, spread propaganda, and do atrocities. So every time you read anything, it's really hard to dictate what is true. Because we know that Iran is willing to kill their own citizens to like a means to an end and also lie. We know Israel doesn't care about human life at all. They don't care about civilians, and they are willing to lie. United States has a horrible track record when it comes to the Middle East, so and they are willing to lie to the point that they start a war that lasts for almost 10 years based on a lie. So it is 100% super difficult at the moment to dictate what to believe and what's going on. That's why you just need to go through all the data. I will show you a webpage that I've been using. Not promoting, I have no affiliation with it, but it at least compiles everything from all sides. It has Israeli newspapers, it has Iranian newspapers, it has right-wing US newspapers, like global. It's one page that has all, and it's iranmonitor.org. And it collects everything. Just a quick show for you guys. Literally, it has everything related. All the most recent social media posts. For example, here's an Israeli news outlet. So you can have all sides of the same news if you want to. This is the only page that can help you navigate this war. It still won't tell you what to trust, but that is like you need to have that media critical thinking and reading skill. Where is it? It's iranmonitor.org. Let's see if I can post it in the chat. Oh, I can. It collects everything. I'm not affiliated with them. And of course, it's not my webpage, so I can't really promise you it's secure to use. As of like now, I have not received any malware or anything from the page. These people think Trump is going to outsmart leaders that have been in power for many years. 2 out of 2 seems like it would be that easy to get rid of their supreme leader if they have 10 to 10 tech. Propaganda collection. It literally has news outlets from all sides of the war. From Jerusalem Telegraph all the way to Fox 32 Chicago, Middle East Monitor, Haaretz, CNN, Yahoo. It has everything. How did we get here? This is crazy. It's quite easy. You have a easily manipulate. You have a president that's easily manipulated, so it's not that difficult. My thing is, what is fake and what is real? Cyber warfare is still a high. Yeah. Who is really winning this war? Trump will not accept defeat. This is something that everybody needs to realize. Vera, thanks for the follow. Trump will not accept defeat. That is a fact. He has never accepted defeat. Even if he's lost like the 2020 elections, he doesn't accept defeat, and he will go to any length to declare himself a winner or win. He is willing to sacrifice as many people as possible to get what he wants. The concern of some people there is that Mujahideen, Kurds, and others are armed to the teeth. Yeah, and they're going to use them. True. Jordan, thanks for the follow. Ed as well. Eddie Montenegro, thanks for the follow. Can we give him a war trophy so he thinks he won? You know what? His weakness masquerading as strength. Part of me thinks that this is about the Nobel Peace Prize. Michelle, thanks for the follow. Part of me thinks that because we know that Trump is really butthurt that he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. We know that Trump cares about the Nobel Peace Prize. He's mentioned it more than the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. He cares about it so much. I think some part of this might be because of that. He's such a weak-minded narcissist. It's probably something to do as well when it comes to him. Human question mark, thanks for the share, and I am Survivor, thanks for the follow. Why America Congress people have coached from APEX? Figure out, are they for sale? Figure out. I mean, I've been speaking against APEC and lobbyists and corruption quite a lot. So I'm not a huge fan of APEC. For example, the Senate, who voted not to take Trump's war actions to Congress, I think it was 90 something percent of them, for sure, has been taking money from the Israeli lobby, also known as APEC. So I'm not saying that it's related. Christopher Himmler. Miksi työnnät nokkas kaikkiin asioihin? What? Because this affects globally. You're Finnish, you should understand this. You should be ashamed of yourself, and you probably voted for perussuomalaiset as well. So I understand your hard on when it comes to Trump. You're Finnish, you should know better. You should be ashamed of yourself. Because we know that bigger countries doing stupid shit affect globally. Spumanti, thanks for the follow. Lobbying in the US is out of control, has been for a while. That is true. And that's why there should be more harsh measures when it comes to lobbying. There should be consequences and jail time for people who take lobbyist money. Finns live next door to idiocy. Dan so fake, even his lies look real next to it. Obi Aspuela, thanks for the follow. I think it's one of the most pathetic things is a Finnish person sucking the ass of Trump. That just means that they haven't paid attention to education at all. Or they're like... Because Finns have been well equipped to talk about global politics for generations, because we follow them and we understand as a small country that what effect countries like United States have in Finland. So I'm kind of disappointed to see a lot of Finns, even in here in this chat, questioning like, why am I talking about this? As a fellow Finn. Do you use tampons? Why would I use tampons? Leroy, if you have an issue of like my long hair, just say it. If you have some insecurities. I don't need tampons though. Brainwash people before they understand who control America. Israeli chosen people figure out. Koska sun hiukset väli. Mitä vitun väliä silloin, että mulla on pitkät hiukset? Tässä on kaikilla suomalaisilla. Mitä vitun väliä silloin? Tarjotteko se tamponia Aleksi Laiholle? Marko Hietalalle? Come on. You're better than that. A person with long hair, like Ozzy Osbourne, Ronnie James Dio, Lemmy from Motorhead. What the fuck? Do you really think that a person with a long hair means absolutely nothing else that they have long hair? Aleksille aika myöhäistä tarjota. I mean, you can just dig up the grave then. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has allegedly long hair. Of course, Jesus isn't real, so if that's an issue for you, I can understand. But allegedly, Jesus Christ had a long hair. Also not white skin, though. So... Your name is Alicia, a girl's name. Oh. So a username also dictates who I am. My username has nothing to do with my name. Alicia is actually the second name of my wife. Why do I use it? Well, that's a longer story. When we started dating back in the day, she had a PlayStation profile. And I used to play NHL and FIFA on her PlayStation. And I got hateful messages from men who lost to me because they thought I was a woman. So... I started using that more and more, and I started shitting on them on voice chat when I started playing Call of Duty and like other games. And all of a sudden they were completely like, fuck, they didn't know what to do. But that is the real reason why there's two reasons. Username, it's just a username that I've been using for a while, and it's my wife's second name, so that's more relations to... I'm not going to finish that sentence. Jesus is real. Jesus is not real. Figure out people what happened to Ibrahim Abraham Lincoln. Infowar. Tell them you use it because you want to. No. I want to is one of the reasons. But there is a deeper meaning behind it. 10 planes overhead since I've been in this chat. God damn. Jesus didn't wipe. That is one of the weirdest comments ever. Are you anti-oil? I'm anti-war. For oil as well. Trump despises wind turbines because wind in his hair is mortal enemy. That's true. We have some beautiful pictures of Trump in the wind. And we know he uses wigs, so. Greater Israel is probably one of the things as well. Like, as we've mentioned already early in the live, is like Israel and Netanyahu want certain things. What Trump wants is oil, because Trump is completely lobbied by the oil companies, and also oil at the moment is controlled. And he already took Venezuela's oil, which is the #1 fucking crude oil reserves in the world. Iran is #3. Saudi Arabia is #2. So if Trump steals Iran's oil, the crude heavy oil reserves, Trump would control #1, #2, and #3. #4 would be Canada. Wouldn't surprise me if they decided to attack Canada as well, based on that knowledge that you have now. If you didn't know this, I mean, I don't even know what the fuck you use in the chat then, you know? Do you have a phone? Are you using a Nokia 3310? I live near Marines and they are all rolling out soon that they're infantry to the west. Paul Trump would be nice. I mean, Trump is just insecure. Like, why wouldn't he go bold? Like, there's nothing wrong with going bold. But he's just hanging on to the last hair that he has. Like, for no reason. That's insecurity. That's not like reflecting strength. That's a complete insecure, like, narcissist. Ironic with that long, crazy hair. There's nothing crazy about this beautiful hair, honey. It is just washed. I literally took a shower 30 minutes ago. No, an hour ago, because we've been live for 50 minutes. But this is one thing a lot of people without long hair doesn't know. It takes a while for the hair to dry up. And because I don't use hair dryers for my hair, like, completely, I let them be a bit wet. I think that's the reason why my hair is so healthy, is because I don't instantly dry them. I let, like, you know, airflow dry them and naturally dry. I know not everybody can do that. Anything he's done you like? Finding the pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies. I've been for that since 2007, 2008. That's one thing that Trump is trying to do, which is a good thing. Because the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies are fucking US citizens over, and has been for decades. He's not succeeding in that really well, but at least he's trying, so I'll give credit where credit is due. Otherwise, I would be hypocritical. Men with long hair is seen as a strength, not a weakness. The funny thing is, I like my long hair. Because my hair growth is so fast, if I had short hair, I needed to go to the barber every fucking week. I don't want to do that. Like, this might be something that a lot of people can't, like, relate, but my hair grows so fast, that I would literally need to have, like, 1 or 2 haircuts a week. So it's easier for me also to have long hair. Why would Iran be about oil? Think about that. Dr. Dick Respect. Think about that. If you had a device in your hand that you wrote that message, you might find the reason. Just think about that for a second before writing that. BB, I have bad news for you, but Trump doesn't give a fuck about Iranians. My line manager has same hair. Next week, petrol pay 2.5 euros in Finland. It's not about oil. Then you're uninformed. If you think about it, it's not about oil. Trump literally said yesterday he wants Iran's oil. So I don't know if you live under a rock or if you don't know how to use the phone you wrote that message in, but Trump literally said he wants the oil. Kaipuku, you can do your own fucking research if you live on a rock. I'm not here to entertain you. If you don't know how to use Google, or if you don't know how to use, I don't know, what AI you use, like, you can find that. How do people not see it's about oil? Empower, like, again, Venezuela, number 1 in heavy crude oil reserves. Clear number 1. Iran, number 3. United States at the moment is number 10. You know? But if you don't want to believe statistics and believe like there's a pattern here, I can't really help you. It's really hard to bring anybody from delusion to reality unless you put them in a room and force them. But then again, that would be inhumane. Mexico is not in the top 10. Do you use anything special on your hair? Literally the cheapest shampoo you can find. No conditioner. Nothing else. I wash it daily. I don't use any conditioner. It makes my hair feel weird. What shampoo conditioner do you use? I don't remember. It's Elvital something. MBS said that US oil will not remain for 10 years. Trump even admitted it was oil. Yes, but there are people in the chat who don't know how to use internet. They somehow know how to type a message in TikTok chat, but they don't know how to research if their supreme leader is lying to them or taking their soldiers to war for a selfish reason. Elviver Dream Length. There you go. Elviver Dream Length. I'm sorry that you're European. I'm quite happy that I'm European. I don't know how many Europeans we have in the chat, but I'm quite happy to be in Europe, though. I'm a US citizen and I know it's about oil. Unfortunately, you're in the minority. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Isn't the majority of your country now Muslim? My fucking God, like, do you, like, you're typing this in TikTok chat. I know this might be rage bait. You're typing that in the TikTok chat with your fucking phone. Before writing that stupidity, have you even researched that? Any? Holy fucking shit. Like, are you in Finland? No, I'm in Ireland. I live in Ireland. I've been living in Ireland for 3 years. Oh God. What country? Ireland? You're falling for the rage bait. I'm falling for the rage bait. Yeah. I know. I should just like... I should just let them be. What we want to do is to get such massive oil reserves in Iran out of the hands of terrorists. Ultimately, we're not going to have to worry about these issues in the Strait of Hormuz because we're going to get all of the oil out of the hands of terrorists.
because
Yes. So it is about oil. Erin, thanks for the follow. No, I mean what Paris. There are some dozens of half counties. Oh yeah, I'm in Mayo, County Mayo. Jane, I did the exact opposite. I used to live in Finland and now I live in Ireland. The 90-story 23 Marina Tower in Dubai has just been hit by an Iranian drone. Mimi, thanks for the follow. Could it be that Trump is making these countries safe for the illegals to go back to? Okay. Here's a follow-up question that I'm really fucking mad I need to make, but do you know what war creates? If you start a war in a country, people flee that country. Where do they go? Wherever they're safe. So, as a matter of fact, Israel and the United States making the Middle East more unstable could cause more migrants to fucking Europe. So if you're anti-immigration, you should be anti-making that region unstable. Holy fuck. Like, oh. Sometimes, guys, you're driving me mad. Sometimes. Dude in Ireland knows so much about the US law. Dewey is delusional. I do know about US, so unfortunately that's... Sometimes. Just sometimes. The funny thing is, Kai Puku, I do know quite a lot about the United States, so... Where are you? I'm in Ireland. You know we're in the age of information and you have the world at your fingertips. I think a lot of people don't know that. That's, for example, why I've been talking about that AI should be used against politicians. So anytime a politician talks live, AI should be used to fact check those fucking idiots. No matter who the politician is, especially world leaders. Especially world leaders should be checked live because a lot of people don't use their phones or their resources to do research themselves. So that's why they believe everything they say because they're too lazy to do their own research to fact check what they've been told. That's why it should be automated, that every time a politician opens their mouth, AI would fact check them. No matter who they are, especially during election times. Especially during election times. Midterms are coming up. So when politicians are promising to do X, Y, Z things, there should be a fact checker providing that, hey, this ass had promised the same thing previously and then backtracked and didn't do any of it. You know? I go now sauna because pörssisähkö halpaa. Love it. You seem to dismiss that the people in Iran want change and welcome Trump's help. People in Iraq did the same. People in Syria did the same. Afghanistan, Libya. Yeah, they're looking quite nice now. Have you planned your vacation trip to Afghanistan or Iraq at the moment? Different. Iran has their own culture. Okay. We'll see. What shampoo do you use? I think it was like Elvita or something. That takes away from reading different resources. That is true, but it will actually like... AI can already compile, compare different resources and provide you as objectively the answer you want to. America gonna make trillions. I don't think America is gonna make trillions. I think there's a few individuals that are gonna make a lot of money. Hope my car runs on Iranian fuel. Again, I hope the conflict ends as soon as possible so the people of the United States don't go to recession. Because the oil prices are climbing up. Hope they slow that down. Sarah, thanks for the follow. Have you heard about this new proposed canal that would cut Iran's canal usage in half? I saw some posts in Twitter about it, that why it couldn't be used like this or done this and this, but it will take a while to get that to run. The same thing as like Trump encouraged like the military industrial complex to ramp up their ammunition creation. It's going to take a bit too long, and that would postpone the war though. So they really didn't have any plan going into this. One thing, thanks for the follow. Even if you'll talk shit, you will love the peace that comes with this. The best part about this is, if I'm wrong, that would be a great thing. Then I'll admit that I was wrong, and it's a good, like, I can say from now, if I'm wrong, that's a good thing. But then again, at the same time, who the fuck said it? Nick. If I'm not wrong, will you admit that you were wrong? Oil. Who mentioned oil? The White House. White House mentioned oil. What we want to do is to get such massive oil reserves in Iran out of the hands of terrorists. Ultimately, we're not going to have to worry about these issues in the Strait of Hormuz because we're going to get all of the oil out of the hands of terrorists. Even MAGA influencers like Eric Doherty, who is one of those that Trump has retweeted himself, is retweeting the same thing. Boom! Trump White House says America will take the oil away from terrorists in Iran. Boom! Oh, that's such a fucking good thing. Oh, another war of oil. Latex Rule, thanks for the follow. Oil, way to grossly oversimplify the situation. Metal Jazeera, I mean, if you haven't followed, you're quite slow, so. Venezuela, #1, heavy crude oil reserves. Iran, #3. Saudi Arabia, #2. Trump is heavily lobbied by the oil industry and the oil companies. It is about oil. It is so much about oil. That's the reason why Trump is so anti-fucking anything else energy and also China. It is about motherfucking oil. I know a lot of Trump supporters, and they really aren't smart. I don't want to bad talk them, but I don't like. You would need to fact check everything that Trump says and do. That's a lot of work. That's why I think AI should be used for that. Should Iran be named Persia again or stay Iran? Where are you? I'm live. It's about eliminating a regime that doesn't listen and wants nukes. Who is the arbiter of like deciding who gets nukes and who doesn't? Trump doesn't give a fuck about that. He wants the oil. It's not even just about the Israeli influence on America either. There's so much more to this. Israel wants the whole fucking Gulf for himself. Trump wants the oil. Latex Jewel, that's the point that I've been... I'll pin your comment, that's a good one. That's a question that I've been asking also, and of course I know the answer why nobody attacks North Korea. North Korea has something that Iran doesn't have. The one thing that protects you from regime change or bigger countries attacking you. They have nukes. If Iran had nukes, USA and Israel would have not attacked them. Oil margins had dropped so low that last month I heard oil executives talking about reducing capital. It wouldn't matter if Trump was president or Biden, we would still have the same war. Sean, I think that's actually true. Because both parties are heavily lobbied by the same entities. APAC money and oil companies. So I don't think it would matter if we had Biden or Trump now. It involves taking down the old globalist system with the British imperialist and the helm and replacing it with what? Another globalist system led by oil companies and Russia and USA. Like, you're just replacing one shitty system with another. They've had nukes for 30 years, right? Or they were close to having them for 30 years. They allegedly were close to having them for 30 years. Trump doesn't need their money. Trump has no fucking money. He's 100% transactional. Trump always wants money. Same toilet. No, there's a global realignment happening. This is a low-level thinking here. Oil and rare earth minerals. I said it in the start of the stream, but I can say it again. I think Trump has a deal with Putin. I think Trump and Putin are in cahoots. Because if you looked at how Hexet and Caroline Lewitt, and therefore Trump, didn't give a single shit of Russians providing intel and aid to Iran that puts US service members and the US military in danger, you might be asking a few questions like, why? Why didn't USA give a shit about? Why didn't they instantly react to Russia? But they are at the same time like speaking shit about Spain and Italy and UK for not providing them access to their military bases. Why is that? Why did USA lift sanctions for Russia to buy oil from India? Why did US go to again mention that they might lift more sanctions for Russia? Why is this? That's something that's really interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see moving forward. Also, would explain why Trump is limp-ticking the Ukraine crisis. Like taking sides of Putin. And like not side of the oppressor, they're taking the side of the attacker. Do you think Putin wants Trump to invade Iran? That's the thing, because we know Iran and Russia are allies. That's the thing that doesn't make sense. But why would Putin be okay with it? And why would USA be okay with Putin interfering, providing aid to Iran? Because that's putting their own personnel in risk. I don't think Putin has a say. Putin definitely has a say. Like, there's interest because Witkoff and Jared Kushner has financial interest in the Russia. Witkoff has some real estate business going on with Russia, so they have a conflict of interest there already. It wasn't a coincidence that they were selected. So what is the connection there? What is the deal? If you compare how Trump treated Putin and how Trump treated Zelensky on their visits, it's quite different. Angel, thanks for the follow. Maybe it's something about the oil. I don't think, Cody, I agree. If Putin asked Trump to stop, Trump wouldn't stop. What if? And okay, I don't usually do this. I don't usually speculate on like things because it doesn't really benefit. It's just like, but it's a fun topic to have a conversation. What if the US, led by Trump, and Russia have agreed that they are the two superpowers that should move forward? So they are trying to smoke China out by controlling all the oil. Because we have to remember, Russia is also in the crude oil, heavy crude oil business. What if there's a secret contract that we don't know? This is moving into like land of conspiracy. But it would explain why Trump is treating Putin differently than any other leader in the past. Why they don't give a fuck about Russia providing intel to Iran that possibly kills their service members and military personnel would explain why Russia didn't push back more on Venezuela. It is interesting. Do you think that would be a good thing? No, definitely not. I don't think it would be a good thing. I think that would be the worst thing for the world. I think that would be the worst fucking scenario for the whole world if Trump and Putin shared the power. Cody, I'm not saying that we can't see Cody. Cody is in TikTok. I'm not saying China is a poster boy. Again, how they treated Uyghur Muslims, they literally have a fucking concentration camp for Uyghur Muslims. Re-education camp. How they treated Hong Kong, Taiwan, Tibet. Like, China is not a poster boy. But China is doing one thing that is not beneficial for the United States and therefore the United States benefactors, which is trying to move away from fossil fuels. Because if you reduce the power that fossil fuels have, then you can't use them as leverage. But before that happens, if you, for example, invade a country, two countries who are in the top 5 heavy crude oil, take over their oil reserves and be the arbiter of who gets them and in what price, that's power. That is absolute power. If you control, let's say hypothetically, the number 1 heavy crude oil reserve, which is Venezuela. And if you control, let's say, number 3, which is Iran, and let's throw number 2 there as well, Saudi Arabia. That is, you have absolute fucking power for that market. Absolute fucking power. So, China is not in the top 10. I don't think China is even in the top 20. China is moving really fast away. And that's dangerous. That's why Trump is saying that people who use wind energy are idiots. Because he knows that you need to be relying on that sweet fucking black gold oil. So USA will have the power still. And another thing when it comes to like this whole situation, it's been building up. Like resource wars is not a joke. I just didn't think it would happen this fast. And it's not necessarily because the resources are running thin. It's because they're going to be controlled by one country. And good job, fossil fuel companies, for lobbying for decades slowing down progress to get away from your grasp. And now it's a bit too late. You can't react fast enough to get away from that. Also, I want to throw a bone, like, to blame the Green parties in Europe as well for not allowing. Green parties for like 2 decades slowed everything down. Sorry for the long rant, but now that we tipped our toe in that subject. Hey, Latex Drool, thanks for the follow. After the JE victim who accused Trump for was said to have been found credible, Trump says attacking. Oh yeah. That's why I called this Epstein War. Last time the title of the stream was Epstein War and people got mad. Then there was another term as well. It wasn't Epstein War, it was Operation Epstein Fury. That's a good name as well. Teriastor, thanks for the follow. Finish, yes. Operation Epstein Fury. Did you read the latest Epstein claims? Did you read the latest fucking Epstein paper about an alleged victim of Donald Trump? The victim bit Donald Trump's dick while Donald Trump was forcing her down. Allegedly. But that is quite specific, you know. Laurie, thanks for the follow. Ed Hopkins, that's a horrible timing for thank God for President Trump because the victim was 14 years old. That is a horrible timing for that. We converted to loads of their commander spies and gave them immunity. We gotta unite and just take the motherfucker out at this point. And a lot of people would celebrate. I'm not saying to do that, but President Trump is saving the world. One pedophile at a time. One pedophile at a time. 100% Ed Hopkins. Trump is saving the world. One fraudster or pedophile at a time. Said he didn't do anything. He hasn't been convicted or anything, but he hasn't been properly investigated either. The funny thing is, a lot of people are using that Iranians are celebrating that Ayatollah was killed. I was also celebrating that Ayatollah was killed. But I also think that that's not a good measurement if something is good or bad. Because we can just see like years from now. Because let's play, I got banned last time I said this, but let's play a hypothetical again and see if Larry Ellison will ban me again. So, Iranians decide to take out Donald Trump and are successful with it. There's going to be millions of people celebrating for that. There's going to be Americans celebrating in the streets. So, by the same standards that people used in Iran and in Venezuela, then we could also assume that if Trump got taken out, that would be a good thing because people are celebrating, right? I think that is a horrible way of measuring if something is a good thing or not. You know? I wouldn't use that. Even though I was personally celebrating when Ayatollah was whacked. Also, I would be personally celebrating when Netanyahu dies. 100%. Netanyahu, the arbiter of death and destruction. Whether it's like natural reasons or whether it's outsourced, when he passes away, I'm gonna celebrate. Okay, so we see if not him. What? If they actually investigated the Epstein crimes, that would be a good thing. Latex Jewel, I do agree. I think that should be investigated 100%. And the funny thing is, Trump was saying, and a lot of Republicans were saying, because of the deposition of the Clintons, that Trump was exonerated, which is not true. Actually, what Bill Clinton said during that deposition raises more questions. How many of you watched Bill Clinton's deposition? How many of you listened to what Bill Clinton said? Bill Clinton said one thing that makes everything that Trump says like sus and would need to be investigated again. Bill Clinton said that when he arrived at the golf course for the charity that Trump provided, Trump told Bill Clinton about Epstein, that they had a falling off because of a real estate deal. Because of a real estate deal, which is completely different than what Trump said. That would, and Bill Clinton was under oath, and he remembered the whole incident. That would be a reason to investigate Trump again. Like, wait a second, Trump, you said you broke ties with Epstein because you thought he was a sleazy guy. He was a bad guy. What is this real estate deal you had falling off with Epstein? Trump said it was over poaching employees. Yeah, but that's a contradicting statement from a former president. Although both are liars. Like, Trump is a liar, Bill Clinton is a liar. So it's again another one of those situations, like you have two liars saying two different things. But that's why it should be investigated a bit more. And Allison, thanks for the follow. Here's another thing. I think no politician should be able to plead the fifth. Citizens of the United States, yes, you have the Fifth Amendment. I don't think it should apply for politicians if they're investigated for wrongdoings or illegal activities. That makes it so that they're just gonna fucking, yeah, I plead the fifth. Also, the governmental hearings, like the Congress hearings, are completely fucking theater. They should never be like that. They should be in court. And they shouldn't be allowed to not answer the question. They should be forced to answer the question. Alexi D, thanks for the roses. Dr. D, DJ Elderberg, thanks for the close stick. Bondi is a Trump girl from way back. She's Attorney General. Bondi's old commercial is kind of hilarious. Like, Bondi's old Florida commercial was that he will do everything to put pedophiles and sex traffickers behind bars. And now, when she's Attorney General, she's doing everything she can to not put them behind bars. That's one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. It's like the flip-flop and the fucking complete Uno reverse card, you know? Who cares what you think? Well, a lot of people... I'm not saying that anybody should care what I think. But if I say something that you haven't heard before, what it should make you do is research a bit more. I'm not telling anybody what to think. If you think that, like, I'm sorry, but you're really easily manipulated by the politicians if you think that. I'm not a politician, though. But you are your own mind's boss. So don't believe by default anything anyone says. Fact check them. See if that's valid information. Bondi is going to join Noam in the unemployment line very soon. They have their sex chat, so they're just going to have a nice little trip there. Wasn't Margot Rubio already, like, calling shotgun on the sex chat? We disagree sometimes, but I definitely think your opinions are interesting and worth looking into. Oh yeah, like, Cody, that's the beauty of this thing. It's like, that's, for example, why I'm always, like, trying to highlight good things that when Trump does good things, for example, the pharmaceutical fight and the insurance companies, those are good things and I can stand behind them. And I think those should be pushed more. no one should blindly follow any leader. We hold them accountable, right? Isn't that the point of democracy? That should be the point of democracy, but unfortunately, in some instances, democracy has been infiltrated by cultism on both sides of the political aisle in the United States, and even in Europe, we see that as well. That you are so blinded by your own political leaders that you believe blindly what they say. So there's a bit of cultism on both sides. But in the United States, it's kind of heavily more involved when it comes to the MAGA movement, because you see it more clearly. You see it that when you criticize Trump on anything, they take it personally. That's a like telltale sign that you belong to a cult, and you need to now do actions that will divert you from that cult. I was a Bernie boy back in the day, so much so that once I realized that it became a bit of a cult-like following for me, I went away from Bernie for a while, because even though I was already speaking on the behalf of Palestinians and the genocide in Israel, when Bernie sided with Israel for a while, I didn't like accept that, and I made excuses for Bernie, and that's when I realized that, oh my fucking god, I'm one of those. So I stepped away from Bernie, and I went back though. But that's after Bernie retracted his comments about when it came to the war in the genocide in Gaza. But I've been there as well. But you can get out there. But you need to have that aha moment that, oh my fucking god, they're just criticizing Trump for telling blatant lies. They're not attacking me. That's the only thing you need to do. That's the only thing you need to do. Admit when fuckery is going on, and praise when good things are going on. If you can't admit the fuckery, I'm sorry, that's really, really close to a cult. Look at how many people refuse to believe Biden was not all there. Exactly, Cody. Exactly. That's a good example. And at the same time, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, you can clearly see that Biden is not okay. Democrats have that cult mentality as well. That's why I'm not a Democrat either. I criticized Obama as well, Alex D. Like, the cages for children, the immigrant children that Obama's eyes put in cages. Also the drone strikes on civilians, not to mention Libya. That is exactly like, that's, okay, how do we make it so that's not going to happen anymore? That's the question. That's the thing that we need to talk about, is like, how can we educate people to understand that following someone blindly because your party or your leaders are telling you is not healthy for you, is not good for the country, and definitely will not make your life better? How can we educate them? KNX, thanks for the follow. The two-party system will never allow that. I agree. Unfortunately, that would mean that we need to do a clean slate, which Cody, you've been here for a few times. You know I'm a huge advocate for revolutions and clean slates. But also, I think you were, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think we were all agreeing that we need to remove all the corrupt politicians and place new politicians and new regulation that corruption would be punishable by jail. And it should be like no corruption allowed, no lobbying, no nothing. Politicians should work for the citizens, not for companies and not for foreign interest groups. That's the only way. It was nice that Biden got hired by Christopher Nolan. What? I still think Biden would be doing a better job, and if needed, Kamala could. As we stated previously, I unfortunately think that we would still be in war with Iran if Kamala won. The person in Spain can make more than 6 times the poorest. Therefore, wealth is distributed more evenly. I know I'm a bit radical when I'm talking about like a clean slate thing, but I am such a huge advocate for people understanding how much power they have. Bro, I have a DM on your TikTok. I'll check it after the stream. I'm such a huge advocate for people understanding that even though you feel powerless, if you unite, you have power. I used to be a union rep back in Finland. This is something that I also advocated quite a lot, and that's why unions are a huge thing in Finland. That there's strength in numbers. That's the thing that every single government in the world is afraid of. This is a thing that now we're going to divert away from the US politics, because there's a thing going on at the moment that a lot of you guys know that I've been talking about, which is the Nepal elections. The Nepali elections are going at the moment, and it's looking like the Gen Z revolution did its job, and the old political parties are going to be the minority now, and the new generation will take over. So the people of Nepal pushed out the government and are now trying to change it because the young people in Nepal didn't see a future. So that is achievable anywhere in the world. I think USA has been broken by Trump time to be rebuilt from scratch. I'm 48% Finnish. Kamala Harris is lobbied by a lot of the same companies and interest groups that Trump is. And to be fair, unfortunately for Kamala, not to take anything away from her, but the Democratic Party made the decisions for Biden. The Democratic Party would have made the decisions for Kamala. Just like, unfortunately, MAGA is a bit different because you have only Trump, so. We just attacked Ecuador now. I think that was a week ago. Nepal, yeah. So Nepal did a huge thing. Huge thing. People just need to unite. People need to understand that it's not me versus my neighbor. It's us versus them, you know? Rubio has been my senator in Florida for many years. He has accomplished very little. Well, to be fair, Rubio is a part of like... The funny thing is, with Rubio, he understood what I understood in 2015. Quite fast. If you remember Rubio's campaign against Trump during the presidential election, Rubio was really outspoken against Trump and saying that he's not fit to have the power to decide about nuclear weapons. But Trump realized this, not Trump, and Rubio realized the same thing that I also realized in 2015, that there is not going to be a Republican Party anymore. There's just going to be Trump and MAGA. So the switch from Rubio being critical of Trump for supporting Trump took a while, took years, but now he's one of his biggest fans and advocates. The same with Ted Cruz and yeah. And also Pete Hegseth. Not Jessica Lay, thanks for the follow, and Kevin as well. And that's true. There's no Republican Party anymore. And there's going to be a small civil war within the Republican Party once Trump is no more. Because they don't have a similar bullshit artist to take Trump's place. There is no similar charismatic fraudster to take Trump's place. Kamala says that he is unequivocally opposes to... She says it now, which is easy again to criticize a person outside the government itself. I read the same news. I read the same statement, the Riastor. Vance doesn't have the support. And Vance doesn't have the charisma. The only way Vance could take the place of Trump would be if J.D. Vance had a divorce and married Erica Kirk. That's the only way. This might be hard to hear for people if there's J.D. Vance fans here, but he would need to have a divorce and marry Erica Kirk. The young generation will change US all blue. And also women. And that's why there are Republicans who don't want women to vote. And there's a danger that a lot of women can't vote. Oh my god, that'll be a nightmare. JD Vance and Erica Kerr, but I can see them trying to pull that out. I mean, I think they would actually do really well politically if Erica Kirk and JD Vance went together. Have you not heard how Erica killed her husband? And is pregnant with somebody else's kid? I've seen some of Candace Owens' videos and clips, but I'm not 100% on that. I'm not 100% on that. It's still wild that that investigation hasn't gone anywhere. I think the court will continue in April, I think. Was it April, I think? What a delusional lip-tart statement, Ozzy. What do you mean, Z-Man? What was, like, delusional from that? We will likely evolve beyond two choices all the time. The youth have more nuances. That's the latex. That's the issue with the US politics at the moment. Is because as I've talked about, like, the political spectrum and the political compass, two-party system doesn't take into consideration political nuances, which politics is all about nuances. The US version of politics is dumbed down, so it's easy to understand for idiots. You have red versus blue, you have right versus left, even though both of them are fucking on the right side. The other one is a bit more liberal and the other one is a bit more conservative, but they're both on the right side. So that's, for example, a lot of Americans in the chat and a lot of Americans have been having discussions is when they are deciding who they vote, they don't really find a candidate they want to vote because the parties are dictating what they're going to do. So even if you randomly find a candidate that could be suitable for you, they're going to be overrun by the party. So they can't really represent you because the party dictates what they do. So at some point, the two-party system will collapse. And I hope it happens soon. Are you an American? No. Because the two-party system makes lobbying and corruption way easier. And it's also easier to divide people. It's so much easier to divide people, and when you divide people, you control them. You manipulate them, you control them. As we've seen, both sides of the aisle, Democrats are saying, oh, all the Republicans are fucking horrible people, and all of them, not some, all of them. And then again, the Republicans are saying, yeah, all the Democrats are fucking, they want to kill your babies when they're like 2 years old and call that abortion. And like, actually some Republicans said that the Democrats wanted to kill your babies after 13 months. And I was like, wow, what? That's years ago, though. But it's easier to demonize the other side. It's easier to weaponize hate. And that's how they control you. You speak like you speak for us. I'm not speaking for you. I want America to be, well, good for everyone, not just the super rich. Because that also benefits the world. That Z-Man, are you stupid? You don't understand that whatever happens in the United States affects global economics, politics. Sorry if you don't know this. That's why I'm talking about US politics, because the current admin and the previous before that, they're bringing their bullshit to the world. No, Z-Man, clearly, you are not educated enough to understand global politics. I understand a lot of Americans don't read enough to have a proper conversation. What are the consequences of, for example, a trade war? What are the consequences of attacking Iran? What are the consequences of letting your intern threaten your allies? What are the consequences of like ignoring international law? I understand that. And that's why having a conversation of this is so important because there's many, many millions of people who don't understand that even though you want to be that fragile shell, that your own bubble you call the United States, unfortunately, there's no bubble around you. Whatever you do affects everything around the world. So when your leader is doing really fucking bad shit, it is affecting everyone. My fucking God. Slowly but surely, though. Slowly but surely. There are more and more Americans who understand this. We need to be more like Finland, healthcare, education, and childcare, etc. I'm a citizen of the United States. The funny, like, I'm from Finland, of course. So, the reason why that wouldn't be applicable for the whole country of United States on a federal level is because there are 340 million people in, like 340 million plus people in the United States. So applying Finnish healthcare system, for example, wouldn't be easy to do as it is. But if you break down the states, I've used Colorado many times in the past because Colorado is about 5 million people. Colorado has 3 times the GDP of Finland. About 3 times the GDP of Finland. So what Finland is doing, healthcare-wise, could be achievable in Colorado. So instead of like making it a federal thing, they should make it a state thing. Let the states decide them. Like, for example, like how they did in New Mexico. Like they did in New Mexico, providing children free healthcare. Yeah, you do have state healthcare, yeah. But you don't have it the way that Finland has. Eli, there's a reason why I'm not saying that I understand everything. I look it as an overview because looking over the United States is the same as looking over Europe. Like when us Europeans read news from Europe, we do read a lot about different countries. And that is directly transferable to the United States because you have 50 states there. So when I'm reading news about United States, I'm reading news from different states because it's easy for me to digest that amount of news because I've already done that for decades in Europe. So that's why when I'm talking about the United States, I can talk a bit more in like overview summary about what's going on in different places in the United States. '51 once Canada acts up. You didn't watch EU Parliament. You don't know that they have walked away from US. Every non-American has so many opinions in America. We keep Europe safe sometimes from themselves. Okay. I have a house in Mexico. I've been to their ER a few times and was not charged a dime. I mean, to be fair, if you can fund free healthcare in a foreign nation, you should be also be able to do that on your own country. Just saying that. Thank you for your conversation. Look forward to hearing more from you. I mean, I'm live almost every single day. I used to take I take like 2 days a week off. Wish we were just to go back to a manufacturing economy instead of a service economy. Well, do you know what I wish? I wish that it wouldn't require for the United States government to wage war in order to satisfy the military industrial complex. That is my wish. I've gone to the ER in the US and it costs nothing, but I have insurance through. I mean, if you have proper insurance in the United States, you don't really need to worry that much. It's easier though, like for example, my father went to United States and broke a wrist there and called travel insurance. And the travel insurance was like, yeah, don't go there. Fly back to Finland, so you have to just withstand that. So that's what my father did. He was there with a broken wrist for a fucking week. a bit of a risk, though, if you think about it. Anyone who's broken a wrist knows that there's a lot of risks involved in that as well, because you kind of want to alleviate the swellingness and also return the normal blood flow. You have to have insurance in the USA because of Obamacare. Ellie, thanks for the follow. Our doctors don't give us opioids and ruin our families. That's a plus also, I guess. That's one thing that a lot of like people need to study is like the opioid crisis in the 2000s. What's the medication that they it's almost on the tip of my tongue. There's a specific opioid that they had salesperson going around doctors and telling them that they need to sell this product. Oxy, that's the one, yeah. Oxycodone, yeah. That's the one. And that was actually my awakening, the opioid crisis in the United States and how they treated pharmaceutical products. That was like back in the mid-2000s. And that's when I started like hating the pharmaceutical industry in the United States, because you don't prescribe the thing that the patient needs. You prescribe the thing that you will get the most money from, or you're already getting paid. That is not healthcare anymore. That is not professional advice from a medical professional. It was promoted as non-addictive. Exactly. And that was my awakening when it came to like the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies, how fucking corrupt they are and how evil they are. Oxycontin. Okay, good. Oxy something. And they attack the symptoms. Yeah. And also hook them up on like fucking drugs. Like literally. They were the legal drug dealers. Super addictive. Dangerous as fuck. And they pumped that out like it was cocaine. Except it would make you relaxed and like high. Just like heroin was promoted as non-addictive to help people get off more. I mean, yeah. Poppy fields in the US got it by US military. But yeah, it was an evil and they hardly paid their actions. That is true. That's, for example, like, I'm not against drugs. Like, I'm not against medicine itself. But usually when I'm being prescribed painkillers, I try to stop using painkillers as fast as possible. Because I still have that. When I started like investigating when it came to like the pharmaceutical industry in the United States, I have that fear even in Europe that what if I have that one bad doctor that took the money from the pharmaceutical company and decided to push me this drug because he's getting paid to do that. I have that in the back of my mind. I had a doctor in Finland. Like in Finland, you have public healthcare, which is free, and then you have private healthcare if your company is providing that, or you can buy private healthcare yourself. But my company provided really good private healthcare, so I used it usually because that meant that I could get instant appointments for my own doctor, and that's a privileged situation to have that, and I know that. But my doctor was one of the best I've ever had. My doctor said that, hey, this is the medicine I'm supposed to prescribe you, and said that I'm getting commissions on it, but I don't want to see you here 3 weeks from now, so I'm going to prescribe to you a cheaper medicine that is going to make you healthy. That's one of the best doctors. I don't know if Mr. Kivi is still working, but it was like his last name was Rock in Finnish, which is Kivi. I don't know if he's still a doctor there, but oh my fucking God. And that's when I started taking all of my kids and my wife there and everybody. Like, he was such a good doctor. He said that, hey, because your company is paying everything, so we're going to do the whole shebang, the whole blood works, the whole like MRIs and everything. Like, because you're not getting charged anything, just to be sure. But that doesn't mean that every doctor is the same. But I've had one of those experiences that my doctor was actually like, you've been prescribed previously this drug. This is not good for you. You shouldn't take this. This is a better drug and it's cheaper. And you will actually get better. How often do you get compared to Aussie? Daily. Usually when I stream, it's actually at least like 5 times the stream. So quite often. Doctors get bonus for getting patients on selected medication. Yeah, even in Finland, there's the, like, they get commissions for recommending and prescribing certain medicines. Usually like alternative medicines for the one that they should be prescribing. Thank God we don't have a pussy dem for a president. I mean, now you have a PDF, but go for it. Patrick Sullivan is a good example of like that divisive mentality when it comes to American politics. Why you will never have a president that cares about you. We should demand that he sings Hellraiser. Like the Hellraiser from Ozzy Osbourne. The Lemmy version, of course. Nah, I know how to play that though. I know how to play that though. With my guitar. I will never let it go. You should see me with my sunglasses. I look even more like Ozzy. My dad was a Democrat. He was no pussy. He jumped out of a plane in the 82nd Airborne. I don't think like that's a easy scapegoat from the other side. Like that's the like a really schoolyard fucking jab that they're trying to do. I don't think like there's probably pussies on both sides of the aisle, and they're like I don't really like that name calling that much. Except idiot. Idiots is a good one. There's idiot Democrats and there's idiot Republicans. You know how to play it. Do it, damn it. I don't have my guitar here. Sorry about that. I'll do it in the next stream, Cody. I promise. I'll hook my guitar on my computer and I'll play it on the next stream. I don't know if I have my Instagram here, but... Okay, now I have some pressure on. I don't know how well it actually sounds there, but... Oh, I have it in drop D. I don't know how well that was heard. This guitar is kind of interesting. This is a complete carbon fiber guitar. It's one solid piece of carbon fiber that has an inbuilt speaker and an effect board. So I don't need, you know, cabinets and pedal boards or anything. No, it's not a Gibson. Even though it's a Les Paul, but it's not a Gibson. And it's completely carbon fiber. Like the fretboard and everything is carbon fiber. Super sturdy. And it's good because if you travel or if you take the guitar like on the plane or anything, like the neck can warp and all of that stuff. So I kind of like it. It's one of like, I was skeptical because it's carbon fiber and I've never had a carbon fiber guitar, but I'm super satisfied with it. So much so that I'm probably going to buy another one. But I'm not endorsed by them, and I'm not going to like tell you to buy that because I use it. But I'm super satisfied when it comes to that. And it's handy because I don't have to have those cabinets and I don't need to have a pedal board and cables and everything. I can just play that. I could literally take that outside, have a cup of coffee and play guitar anywhere. Fucking handy. All right, I need to stop the stream now because I'm actually going on a punk concert with my daughter. A local band is playing punk in a small gig here, and I promised my daughter I would take her. So we're gonna have what band? I don't remember the name, but I will tell you in next stream what it is. Maybe I'll film a video, but it's gonna be our first like gig together when it comes to like those punk bands. So yeah, have a great rest of the evening. If something happens during that, I'm gonna be away for like 2-3 years, and not 2-3 years, 2-3 hours. If something happens drastic, I might be back. So thanks everyone, and again, nice conversations, and I love that we don't need to agree with everything, and we can disagree with a lot of things. And I hope everybody stays safe, and have a great rest of the day, rest of the evening, and hope to see you again. Take care, guys.